The price of copper has soared again, hitting a new all-time high today. This is both push and pull inflation, so it's kind of not great news. What's going on is primarily China is rebooting its economy through some stimulus programs from the government. So suppliers have been looking to buy more and more copper. There's simply not enough out there. This has pushed the price of copper up higher. What I wanted to look at was XLB stock. XLB stock, of course, is an ETF, XLB ETF, on the materials sector. Some of the stocks inside there are soaring as well. Let's break down, taking a look at the metals in there and having a look at XLB stock, how it's performing versus the S&P 500. Let's jump in. Here's a look at copper futures. It did pop up back above $5 today. In just a month, it's gone 25% higher. Just saw over the weekend someone had chopped off the Tesla charging cables, which I tried to figure out. I mean, they probably made $600-700 off that after recycling that. You can see that the surge has really kind of taken off over the past month, and what's happened is China. They're really trying to revamp their economy once again. Here's a look at the monthly chart. These are all-time highs for copper. Now, one of the things from an economist standpoint is we'll usually look towards demand for copper to give you an idea as to overall demand of what's going on in the economy. So the fact that we're seeing this surge, it's really kind of an outlier, and it really boils down to China just ramped up rapidly, and because of that, there's not enough supply. Now, I've been reading some articles that they're trying to encourage people out of London, the London exchange, to dump copper into the world markets in Chicago to keep the price lower. Now, I've also looked at forward prices, and one thing that you could do is if you are a supplier or a user and you're sitting on supply, you could in the future look at your supply you've got right now, dump some of your current supply if you can buy the price of copper in the future at a lower rate, because the idea is that futures are going to be lower priced because demand and supply will come back into line. But that's not happening. I looked 9 months out. Supply price is pretty much holding tight with what's going on in spot price today. So we could see copper prices higher for a bit longer. But it isn't just copper. Now, I really wanted to look at XLB stock because this is one way you can get involved in copper is by trading some of the materials stock. XLB, the ETF, one of the sectors for one of the Spider Select Sector ETFs. There are 11 sectors within this economy, and as you can see over the past, going back, what, 4.5, almost 5 years, I've gotten this chart. XLB has largely gone in line with the price of copper, but it isn't just copper. There's other materials. XLB is the materials sector, but you can see that there's a fairly tight correlation. There's more than just copper. Gold stock. Now, I actually started going short, trying to sell 220 gold on GLD stock, and I have been doing this over the past several weeks. I put a video out maybe 2-3 weeks ago that 225 was what I was looking for. I did not expect this spike higher, but when we were sitting at 210, I thought, yeah, I could probably sell into this thinking we're not going to see 225. All of a sudden, my position's looking interesting, but I don't expect this to hold. Main reason is the Federal Reserve is going to keep interest rates higher for longer. This will contain overall aggregate demand. Price should come back down. For now, however, that's not exactly happening. Silver, same thing. Now I sit on coins. I'll go out there and you can buy your coins for 25, 30 bucks, whatever the price might be, 22.50, depending on spot silver. I buy coins and I sit on them. I've got a bit. It's just one of those things that should the apocalypse happen, I've got coins. That's kind of my take on it. I just, for whatever reason, like coins. Well, they're starting to get interesting. I'm selling silver, SLV stock, which is in the Silver Trust ETF. I'm selling calls into this with the expectation that the price of silver will get back in line. In the meantime, XLB stock, 4-hour bar chart, hasn't moved as much. And I thought this was really interesting because of the correlation, the chart I showed you earlier. So the XLB stock would be all the miners and material companies that are involved in this. So although they are getting more for the price of the minerals they are mining, the stock isn't going up. I felt that that was misaligned. XLB stock very likely will move higher in the near term if we continue to see copper prices moving upward. Here's a look at XLB stock, the materials ETF, versus SPY stock. SPY stock, of course, being basically the S&P 500. They're going all the way back to 2019, actually the bottoming of 2020. They're neck and neck. I was really surprised at this because materials is just one of those things that you would consider lagging the overall broader 500 economy. You get XLK stock, which of course is the technology sector, and that's going to have, that one's kind of moving much higher. There are the financial sectors kind of moving upwards. There are others that are outperforming as SPY stock itself, but they've not been parallel like it is with XLB. Now, my take has been pretty consistent. We hit another all-time high today. I expect that the stock market will largely continue to move sideways. We're going to continue to get information on inflation that the Federal Reserve really won't have the ability to move any which way, that they're going to sit on their hands until after the presidential election. I put out my 2024 stock market prediction back in, I think, October of last year. And I did the same thing for 2023 in October of 2022, November, I think it was. And I pretty much called 2023 to a T. Now with 2024, basically what I said was a lot of sideways movement throughout summer. Then the bloodbath happens September, October, November, December. We're going to see the effects of what's going on with interest rates. Since they have moved higher, we'll see the consumer sort of contract. We're at 3.86% unemployment rate. There's no one left to be employed. So what's the catalyst to push the economy further? Because of that, stocks are broadly going to contract. They're going to see rates of growth moving lower. A lot of these stocks have been pushed high, very high, because of the rate of growth. Well, if we have no more rate of growth, it reasons that we'll see selling going on. XLB stock, of course, is probably going to see that happen. Same with copper. Now I'm starting to move. I'm probably going to get a little more serious with a lot bigger positions towards the end of August, going into September, October, November. I expect those 3 months that we'll probably see some movements lower. I don't know that we're necessarily going to see blood in the streets. I don't think we're going to see a recession. I think we're just going to see a moderation of growth, and the stock market will adjust. Then the Federal Reserve will adjust interest rates to a more accommodative stance. So this is just a process that we're working through. For now, I see that we're probably at the high point in a lot of these stocks. Here is Freeport. I took a look at this one, Freeport, FCX stock. Again, compared to XLB stock, kind of hand in hand. Now, I looked at Newport Mining, and they have not performed nearly as well. If you break down XLB stock, you can find some that have outperformed XLB stock, and then some that have underperformed. Broadly speaking, XLB, of course, keeping pace with the broader stock market, SPY stock. I think XLB stock, when it comes down, will come down a lot more ugly than SPY stock. And what's really going to be driving that, of course, is interest rates. Now, interest rates prop back up again above 4.4% today. The U.S. 10-year Treasury yield higher for longer. We're probably going to see the 10-year Treasury trickling higher, maybe get back up to about close to 4.5, and hang out there for some period of time. There's not really much that's going to push it above 4.5, but the Federal Reserve doesn't have the ability to lower interest rates yet either. Eventually, however, the Federal Reserve will be able to move to a more accommodative stance. The only reason why that happens is we see growth rates decline, and that will probably mean XLB stock, Freeport, copper, gold, and silver move lower. So these are the positions that I'm going to be really gearing up for when it comes time, say August, going into September, October, November. I'm going to be starting to go heavy short on those positions. If you want to, make sure to hit the like and follow button on this channel so you can keep tabs of how I'm trading XLB stock, the material sector, copper, silver, gold, and a few other metals. Also, I have a link down below for my Substack where I do written content on this. We'll see you in the next video.